Well, host Sean Lennon, you're tuned into Pro Wrestling Enforcer podcast. And right now, we welcome Chicago pro wrestler, the One Man Dynasty, Darius Latrell to Pro Wrestling Enforcer. And make sure to check out his upcoming matches. Currently wrestling for Freelance Wrestling, Freelance Underground, and Berwyn Championship Wrestling. And he was a former NCAA Division I player for the UIC Flames as well. And we appreciate you being on the show for the first time.
Oh man, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It definitely, you definitely stand out when people see you, enter the ring, obviously, with your height and, the basketball gear on. So, talk about that, developing that character, from when you were a basketball performer to now becoming a pro wrestler.
Oh man, in all honesty, when I first started training, I tried my best to stay away from that. Just because I thought I would have liked to challenge myself to just do something kind of outside of the norm for myself. But it got to a certain point where it was coming out so naturally, just as I was just getting my footing in the ring and things like that. And one of the first things they tell you is like, once you get comfortable doing the drills and working in different like practice matches and stuff like that, is to at some point start having fun, start acting like you're actually in a real match with fans there, and like what are some of the character things you would like to do. So before I started doing experimenting with little things, I would just do some type of basketball move here, do a fake shot here, and things like that. And so I was like, you know what, it seems too natural. I'll just have to stick with it for now, just to try to get comfortable in the ring. But it's been paying off more than I thought it would, actually.
That's good. Yeah, talk about, leaving basketball to be a professional wrestler, like making that decision.
I mean, I think I'm at the point in my life where I got to the point in my life where I believe, basketball has done everything that it could do for me, as far as the business side, I guess. I mean, won championships in high school, won championships in college, got a chance to play overseas for a little bit, got a chance to play semi-professionally at home, was a part of some really good teams here and things like that. And, I just got to a point where, like, as much as I still love basketball, there's a lot of other things out there that I could be doing. I'm not making it to the NBA as much as I would have loved to do something like that. So it's now just time to put my energy in different things, but I'm still at the point where I'm still athletic, I'm in shape, I can still compete in some type of way. And over the last 10 years, wrestling has been growing on me more and more and more. So it was just a natural transition to do.
Yeah, how has pro wrestling changed your life for the better?
I mean, honestly, I've met so many good people. That's like the first thing. Like, I'm a real big relationships guy. So even though I know it's still a business and different things like that, I understand that you can meet certain people and they can change your life. Like my trainers at Freelance, everybody has played a big part. All of the students that I've met, the different car rides that I've had, the seminars that I went to, being able to get in the ring and do segments with people like Mick Foley, that's not something I ever would have dreamed of. Yeah, all of us start off as a fan, but being able to still be a fan, but also participate in these different things has been great.
Definitely. And, you guys had a great match, when you were with Koda Hernandez against the Bang Bros, PickN'Pop. So talk about that match in particular. I mean, it was well received. What were your thoughts? Was that something you're very proud of?
Yeah, so what obviously wasn't proud of the outcome, but you know, just hearing how many people talk about that match, even to this day, it being the first freelance show back, my first real match on the main roster with the lights off and having that crowd there. Man, it's just like a different type of energy. I was nervous the entire day, but at the same time, once the ring was set up and they were testing sound and that freelance music hit for the first time, it was just like, this is the moment I've been waiting for, to show this crowd, especially what I've been working on these last few years, and how the Freelance Wrestling Academy is what I believe the future of wrestling in Chicago and the indie scene across the country.
Yeah, definitely. That Spine Buster made a lot of highlights.
Yeah, man, I don't even know what I was thinking with that one. It was just, it's something hard to explain.
Definitely. And, talk about being a pro wrestler from Chicago. What makes you proud, to be representing your community?
I feel like it's different for me, just because I really didn't grow up in like the indie scene or anything like that.
Mhm.
It was always just one company. So over these last, I really started getting back into wrestling like the last 10 years, like I said, but the independent scene, probably the last 6 or 7 years. So even as I began training and learning about different independent wrestlers, different promotions, different people who trained in Chicago or who were from Chicago that I didn't even know, is like you falling in love with wrestling all over again from the business standpoint, because I'm learning everything about trying to be a professional wrestler, but you fall in love with it all over again from a fan standpoint, because you hear a lot of background, you hear a lot of origin stories about different people, different businesses, different spots. And it's just a lot of history here, and how Chicago is one of the most respected, wrestling cities in the world. It's kind of like you got to have a chip on your shoulder because you want to represent the lineage that has came out of here.
Definitely. And, talk about the differences when you were making a wrestling show happen, live, when there's a live crowd, and, basically a basketball game. Like how much does the crowd factor into each one?
I mean, I believe the crowd is like the biggest important part. Playing home games at UIC or playing home games when I was in high school, at Marshall High School, and we won city championship and won state championship, and thinking about how the crowd would come and support, and win or lose, they were always on your side. And then even going on away games to our rivalry schools and having those fans boo you, that's an energy that you welcome if you're a competitor. You don't get into the game of basketball if you don't want to compete, if you don't want to have close games and try to grind it out at the end, the last 2 minutes. And I think a lot of that still translates over to the wrestling fans and the wrestling crowds as well, because they want to see a good show. Whether they like you or they hate you, if they cheer you or they boo you, you want to feel that energy, because we feed off what they give us. A lot of it is the energy that they bring.
Definitely. I mean, I've seen some fans interact with you. They try to slap five and stuff, and you kind of ignore them. Was that hard for you to do at first?
Um, I mean, it's funny sometimes just thinking about how hated some people want to be towards me, or how some people love me, but they understand, they get it. Like, I'm out here to win. I'm out here to do a job right now. So you'll get your entertainment inside the ring, but I'm not here to be your friend today.
Definitely. With the Freelance Wrestling Academy, how much of your success is attributed to them? And did you find like yourself being recruited by Freelance Academy, or was it you found them out yourself?
Oh no, I found them. I had someone tell me about them when I told them that I was ready to start training, and literally the next day they was like, Freelance Wrestling Academy, they just opened a school, and this is back when we were training in the back of Pro Wrestle Tees, and they had just opened the month before. And, so I was coming in brand new. The school was pretty much brand new. And everything that I have right now, I have to contribute to them. Not just the training part, but the mentoring part as well. And the push that they have for us to be successful, and also telling us, we can't baby you here. We can't teach you everything, but there's so many other places that you can go. They encourage us to go out and seek knowledge from other trainers, other promotions. They let us know that freelance isn't the only place that you need to work on, there's multiple places out here that you can go to try to make a name for yourself. So, and just hearing some stories from other people in the past, I really appreciate everything that they're doing for us.
Any particular trainer that stuck out for you? I know you had Jesus Bryce, you had Robert Anthony.
I mean,
among others.
it's all of them. I learned something from all of them, from Ego to Isaiah to Bryce, Kylie Ray. They all give us something. They all give us something different, and I think that's big because, you know, there's so many avenues in professional wrestling, you know, that people see things from a different point of view, and you have to take all these different opinions and just try to form it into your own one character. You know, if we all only had one trainer, we would only be knowing maybe 10% or 15% of what all the knowledge that it is out there. And all four of our trainers had different backgrounds, different styles, different point of views, different characters, different ways they work. And, you know, we just try to mesh it all together to work, to use it for what's best for us and our character. So.
And how much of your individual creativity goes into each match or even like a promo? I mean, you and Koda had a nice little setup for the Prison Rules match that showed like a little backstory. So is that in your individual creativity that goes into that?
Yeah, so with that video specifically, it was just inspiration, just hearing that song one day, and I was like, we could use this, you know, just based off the characters that we had with Koda. And then once the Prison Yards match got announced, I was like, we can do something with this. I was like, if we have the opportunity to add a little bit more emotion and another level to the match, why not? You know, those are the type of things we see on like our big production companies, like WWE, AEW, and things like that. We can bring that to the local indie scene as well. So,
well, hopefully we'll see some more of those, right, in the future.
That's the plan.
Definitely. And you know, how much do you feel how much you feel you've drawn inspiration from your past while discovering a new facet of yourself as the One Man Dynasty?
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where on the basketball court, you got to have some type of confidence. Like it's not always about what your physical game is. You have to be able to talk the talk as well as walk the walk. And, you know, in Chicago basketball, if they sense any type of weakness, you'll get eaten alive out here. You know, just like wrestling in Chicago is well respected across the country and the world, basketball in Chicago is respected across the country and the world. You know, I got 3 guys from my high school right now that's in the NBA. And, you know, that translates from the type of challenges that they had in high school growing up on the west side of Chicago, south side of Chicago, or whatever, and bringing that mentality on the court, because if you show weakness, you get eaten alive, and that can happen in the wrestling world as well.
Definitely. And, you know, how about training to wrestle? And how much of your athleticism helped you in the different aspects?
Yeah. I mean, it helped a lot, you know, just being in shape. And I think just understanding, one, how it is to be a student with a trainer. Is the rules translate the same way from having a basketball coach. You know, you need to listen first and foremost. And I think just already having like that discipline, playing on sports teams all my life made it easier. I mean, there are some things that were new to me, but at the same time, you know, I work out, I run, I do sit-ups, push-ups, and all these different things. So some of the physical activity, even if it was new, it wasn't too hard to catch up on. But at the same time, if it was hard in the first place, then our coaches would just, you know, do what they needed to do to motivate us to get through the things that we needed.
And how much fun was that prison yard match with the Cocoa Buffs? Getting to do something different, experience something different than what you normally do, right?
Yeah, and that's probably one of my favorite matches. Obviously, the match with the Bang Bros is one of my favorite matches as well. But I think that match, that Prison Yards match, was just the combination of one of the things that I wanted when I first got into training. And I was like, I love doing all the one-off matches that I have, but I want to be a part of a few. I want to be able to tell a story and try to invoke some type of emotion coming from that. So when that Prison Yard Rules match happened, it was just, this is what I've been waiting for as far as having a storyline, having it all come to an end, and making sure we get the best result based off everything that we did that past year.
And definitely, and you've been able to work a dark match for Evolve since back in 2019. So how much you feel, no pun intended, you've evolved since then when you go back and watch those early matches?
I think it's just the confidence, and I think the pandemic actually helped that as well. Just being able to sit and think about my character and some of the things that I wanted to do from that time to now, and starting to get the gears rolling on some of those things, because Darius Latrell is always going to be an evolving character, and I think in the coming future you guys will get a chance to see some of the things that I'm talking about as far as like promo styles, different type of interviews that I do, things that I do in the ring, the type of gear that I begin to wear, and things like that. And I think that's just what it's all about, just progressing with the community, because wrestling is constantly evolving. So you have to be able to evolve and stay relevant.
Definitely. If you could book your own match on a show, someone you haven't faced yet, who would it be and why?
So one match, the match that I was supposed to have yesterday, was supposed to be against Sean Dean from AEW. And that's just a match that's supposed to happen. It's going to happen one day. Me and Sean go way back. We're fraternity brothers. And I remember when he first started training in Chicago before he moved to Atlanta, being there and seeing his first match. And he was the person that told me about Freelance when I said he was the one that I contacted when I was ready to start training. So, it's just one of those people that has been there kind of every step of the way, giving pointers and things like that. But, it's at the point now, like, we're competitors. It's time for me to see where I stand with somebody like you. You got a couple years ahead of the game in me. You've been on TV, you've contracted, and I have places that I want to go. I have things that I want to do, goals that I want to achieve. And I feel like he's kind of like that litmus test of what it is I could possibly be in the business.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be amazing to see that matchup one-on-one. And what do you think of fans sporting your merch? I give you the opportunity to plug your merchandise.
Yeah, so it's since it's all still so new to me, releasing my first shirt last year, then made a second shirt, and then I have another shirt that I'm about to get ready and release pretty soon. And having the fans come and ask for pictures, autographs. It was different in college because some fans would do it, but it's kind of different now because you kind of doing it all on your own, like
Right.
trying to find like the right designs, the right type of pictures to take, the right type of logos to make, because once you spend all this money on you, like the money is gone and you got to try to gain it back. And that's not to say that you're in it for the money, but at the same time you're trying to invest in your brand, and you just hope that the work and the time and the money that you put in is being invested the right way.
For sure. And if anybody wants to check that out, do you have a website or?
I am. You can find me on Pro Wrestle Tees right now. You can just search my name on Pro Wrestling Tees, and I have merchandise on there. And then if you're in Chicago, I normally have shirts that are printed out already as well.
Nice. And you can kind of have that different color scheme too, right? Depending on what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously doing the black and red, representing the Chicago Bulls. Probably gonna be doing that for a while, and hopefully I'll be able to get like some different gear made based on some of the other jerseys that they have as well.
Definitely. Yeah, that'd be cool, man. I'm just playing. You could get a Loyola colored one, but just joking. Just
I don't know about that. I don't see that happening. I mean, I guess they do have the is it burgundy and gold or maroon and gold? 'Cause
maroon.
my high school was maroon and gold, so that would be
Okay.
the only way I could if I did a Marshall High School version of some wrestling gear. But if you ever see it, it's not Loyola.
Yeah, I got you. I had to throw that one in there.
Mm.
And then, last thing, like, what do you want to be remembered for, after it's all done?
Yeah, I feel like I'm still figuring that out, you know.
Mhm.
'Cause I think anybody that gets into the business, having that first match was always just like the goal, and I've had that, and now I'm just at the point where I'm still trying to figure myself out.
Mhm.
And I think right now what I would want the day I retire is when fans hear my name and just like they're just like, that guy was entertaining, he knew who he was, and he can do it on the mic, in the ring, or whatever it is that they needed.
Definitely. And we've also seen you've had moments, like you said, with Hornswoggle and Mick Foley
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, Swoggle, he's becoming a pain in my butt. Like I see. Had to deal with him last night at Berwyn too. So
Mhm. And I'm sure, like, the Vic Capri being the world champion, that'd be something that you have in your sights on, right?
of course. Now I wouldn't be calling myself the One Man Dynasty if I didn't want any championships.
Mhm.
It's the whole point behind it. The Bulls dynasty, the Lakers dynasty, any other dynasty you can think of. That's where that word comes from. In as far as sports is concerned and sports entertainment is concerned, when you hear dynasty, you hear about teams who have won multiple championships and have cemented a legacy. So, can't be the One Man Dynasty if I don't start putting some titles around my waist.
Definitely. I know we got the freelance tag team titles when freelance comes back. Those are definitely you and Koda are aiming for that, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. That's definitely in the bag. Calling our shot right now.
For sure. Well, hey, Darius, I appreciate you again taking time to be on Pro Wrestling Enforcer, man. Great to hear your story. Very inspirational stuff, and appreciate you being on the show. Please plug anything that you'd like to plug.
I think the main thing right now, if you can follow my Instagram and my Twitter, is all the same at One Man Dynasty _. You'll be able to catch any announcements I have about matches, promo videos, merchandise, and things like that.
Definitely. I appreciate you being on the show, and best of luck. I'm sure I'll see you sooner than later at one of the
All right.
upcoming events.
All right, now, Sean, I appreciate you for having me on.
Anytime.